Welcome to this video where I'm going to show you the exact sales script that's completely changed my life and has allowed me to get to a point where I now make over $40,000 per month in high ticket sales. I've used this exact script to close over $3.5 million in this industry, taking thousands of sales calls following this exact same process I'm going to show you in this video. And I've also taught this to beginners, and what I've seen, because I've tried so many different sales processes from different gurus, different sales coaches, and I've seen over and over again, this is the simplest process for a beginner to learn. I've taught this to over 100 beginners with no previous experience. They'll be able to learn this, use this to get into this industry and start making 5-10K a month. It's simple to learn and it works. It's simple to learn for a beginner, but it's still very, very advanced and works at a high level. You can close at 60, 70% like I've been doing following this exact same process. So I want to break that down in this video, exactly how this works, how you can start using it step by step. First off, you need to understand, why does this process actually work so well? It's because it's not based upon pushing a product and having to handle a bunch of objections. What most people struggle with right now is they run through a call and they have to be super pushy at the end. They have to get like 10 different objections. I want to think about it. I want to talk with my spouse. And you go into objection handling mode. This process, this framework, it's built on human psychology. So instead of having to do all that stuff of handling objections, in this process, we build trust in the beginning of the call. And as a result of that, we can also pre-handle all objections, which results in us having an objectionless close at the end of your calls. So how does this actually work? How do we achieve this? It's by having basically 3 different parts of every single closing call. Every single sales call, every single closing call comes down to 3 different parts. Number 1, we have discovery, where we ask questions, gather information about the prospect, figure out where do you want to go, what's their goal, where they're at right now, what's been their past, uncover and pre-handle objections, then we pitch them, and then we close. Okay, the fundamentals of sales and high ticket sales specifically, it's not about pushing a product, it's about solving problems. Business is about obviously solving problems for other people. Sales, all that it comes down to is showing someone else that you can help them solve a problem. How do we do that? Is by first figuring out what the problem even is, so finding a gap between where they are and where they want to be, and then showing them we can actually help them fix that exact gap and solve that problem, and then closing them. Obviously, to do that, we also need to uncover any mindset issues, any objections that could be coming up. So that's what we do here in the past part. That's the fundamental thing we're trying to achieve in a sales call. If we can find someone's problem and then get them confident that we can help them fix that problem, they will buy. Okay, that's the fundamental of sales. With that being said, now let's get into how we actually close people. What do we actually say on our calls? What do I say on my calls to make over $40,000 per month in this industry and close at over 60%? Let me show you. First off here, the purpose of the future and the current section of our calls, these first 2 parts here, is simply put to clearly separate the prospect's current and desired situation and therefore build a gap. Just like I said right now, we want to figure out what the problem is for the prospect so we can then give them a solution. Simple as that. It should be very, very straightforward, very, very simple. And that's really what sales comes down to. The most advanced closers, the best people in high ticket sales that make the most money, they don't have some crazy tactics. They're just very, very good at the basics. Okay, that's what this comes down to. Then the purpose of the past part, which is a bit more advanced, is to uncover and overcome objections and then build commitment and urgency to get the prospect to take action now. We don't want the prospect to hop off the end of the call and be like, I want to think about it, and we have to book a follow-up. We want to close them on the call. And in order to do that, we need to shift their mindset, uncover any limiting beliefs, objections, mindset issues we might need to overcome in order for us to be able to close them. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do this right now. Number 1, very, very important that you understand the outcomes we're looking for in each part of the call. I'll give you the script. I'll tell you what to actually say on your calls, but it's way more important if you want to sell at the highest level and actually make 10, 15, 20K a month in high ticket sales. You cannot be tied to a script. Okay, you cannot be tied to specific questions to ask. You need to be flexible. You need to be able to think on your feet, ask questions in your own way and like how you naturally speak. That's how I teach sales for all of the sales teams that I manage. That's how I sell myself to perform well in this industry. You need to know the outcomes and why you're asking what you're asking. When you know what you're looking for, the questions and the scripting comes naturally. You can be yourself on a call. You don't have to be any scripted salesperson. Okay. That's the way that I teach sales for all the people that I work with. And that's how I sell myself, is you want to be selling from a place of alignment and being basically just having intuition, being able to use your own personality when selling. And that comes from knowing the outcomes you're looking for, not just having a script to follow. So with that being said, what are the outcomes we're actually looking for in different parts of these calls? Number 1, future. Okay. When we're looking for the goals, so the desired situation, like I said over here, We're looking for their desired state, Heaven Island. We want to get a numeric goal. So let's say if it's a make money online offer we're selling. Let's say you're selling an offer teaching people how to start an AI agency, for example, or trading or something like that. Okay, how much money do you actually want to make? Let's say they want to make 10K a month. They want to weigh 80 kilos. They want to go on 2 dates per week if it's a dating offer. We're going to get a specific number. Okay. Then we're going to tie that number to a specific non-numeric goal. Let's say they want to make 10K a month, so they can leave their 9 to 5, move to Thailand, let's say. They want to go on 2 dates per week so they can meet their ideal partner, build a family, and have kids. That's it. They want to weigh 80 kilos so they can feel confident and have more energy to grow their business. You want to figure out a specific number, what that number will actually do for them. And you need to get very, very specific on the personal reason why that's important to them. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this when I get to the scripting. And then a long-term vision. When we have this, then we have a clear picture. We've clearly defined what the Heaven Island is for this person. And that's going to create urgency for them. It's going to create a natural gap between where they want to be and then the next thing here, which is the current situation. So after we got this, we have a clear idea of where this person wants to be. Okay, this is the most effective way of doing so when you checked off all these different boxes here. And most importantly, you have a personal reason. So not just, I want to make money online so I can leave my 9 to 5, but why does this person want that? When we figure out why they want it and actually dug deeper on it, we have a clear picture. Then we're done here. We move on to the current. Okay. Here, the main thing is just number one, understanding the necessary context to understand their current situation. For example, if someone runs a business right now, you might need to figure out what type of niche is their business in. If they're working a 9 to 5 right now, what are they doing for work? How long have they been doing that? We need necessary context to then understand what the problem is in their current situation. For example, if someone's working a 9 to 5, they're working very long hours. We want to figure out how long has that been going on for, because if you understand how long it's been a problem for, it's a bigger problem if it's been going on for 10 years compared for 10 months, let's say. So we need necessary context here to understand where their actual problem and where the pain is going to be. Then we get the numbers. So just like we did here, we figure out where they want to be, and then we also figure out a number attached to it. Exact same thing here. They're in a job right now, they're not making enough money, let's say, and they're making 2K a month. Right now they weigh, let's say, 100 kilos, they want to weigh 80 kilos, and with them weighing 80 kilos, it's causing them to feel unconfident or to have lack of confidence. Okay, then we have context, and then we also have numbers. Same thing with business. It's pretty obvious how much is the business doing in revenue per month right now. Okay, so we get context, which is more logical, then we get numbers, and then we go into the exciting stuff here, the fun stuff, which is digging into the actual problem. What are they not happy with right now? A lot of people struggle with like digging into the problem and figuring out like what is a problem versus what's not a problem. How to think about this, it's very simple. Just you can go on Google right now and search for Maslow's pyramid of basic human needs. Okay, go look at that. That's what this comes back to. Is you want to look at like the things that this person is talking about right now. Let's say they're in a job right now, they're working super long hours, they're not making enough money. How does that tie back to their basic human needs? Needs like fulfillment, significance, having security, having certainty. Those are like the basic human needs. You want to tie back these different things, these different problems that you will find here into these basic human needs. And when you get deep there, you can link, for example, they're working a job right now, they don't have location freedom, they can't travel like they want. That's causing them to feel stuck and depressed, which is causing them to have a lack of significance, for example, or lack of fulfillment. Boom, then you tracked back a job where they have to work in an office to a deep human desire of feeling significance, for example, or feeling a sense of fulfillment / freedom. That is what the current part is really about, is defining clearly their current state, not only what they're not happy with and the current situation, the numbers, but also what is the human need, the thing that's really not in place, so they're missing right now, basically. So we problem link, we take location freedom or lack of time right now, we connect that to, let's say, I can't spend enough time with my kids, and that's causing me to feel like a bad father, for example. So we link different problems to other areas of the life. Not enough time at home, causing me to not have time with my kids, causing me to miss out on family activities, causing me to feel like a bad father. That's problem linking right there. That's what we're gonna do. We get deep and figure out the emotional underlying pain. Then, once that's done, we have a future state, where do you want to be? We have where they are right now. We have a clear gap in between here. If you've done this correctly, you're going to clearly define where you want to be and where they're at right now. Then we go into the past. This is the most important part by far. We'll be undercover first off, how long has the problem been going on for? We figure out how long the problem has been going on for. We figure out what type of person we're actually speaking to. Is this person a overthinker? Is this person extremely analytical? Do they have fear, for example? What is their objection going to be at the end of the call? We figure out what that is, and then we overcome that. I have a very, very clean and a simple way to do this. I'm going to show you in a second. But that's what we do here. We figure out what type of person we're talking to, what their objection is going to be, and then we overcome that objection by getting them to take responsibility of their roadblock. When I say roadblock, I'm talking about their objection, and get them to commit to making change right now. These are the outcomes we need in every single part of the call. If you get these outcomes, you will be able to pitch and you will close without getting any objections whatsoever. Study these different things. Make sure you actually understand this. Rewatch this if you have to. Now I'll move on to the actual script and the exciting stuff of what to actually say on your calls. This will be for a make money online offer, which is the most common niche that most people that I teach and most people overall in high ticket sales will get into, where you're teaching, for example, or you're working for an offer that's teaching how to make money online. Let's say a trading offer. You probably know people like maybe TGR, Breast Scales, Iman Gadzhi, these people that sell offers teaching people how to make money online. Those are usually the biggest influencers to work for, where you make the most money as a sales rep. So I'll show you an example of how to sell an offer like that. So we'll run for this. Intro, very, very simple. You hop on your call with a prospect that's showed up into your Google Meet or your Zoom meeting. And the first thing you ask them is going to be, what's got you here on the call today? How can we help? Get a brief overview, why they're on the call. We just want to figure out what their intent is coming on the call. Then we ask them the goals question. So when I go through this, I want you to think back to these different things. Every single question I ask goes back to getting these specific outcomes here. First thing we'll ask. So if we look 6 to 12 months into the future, ultimately, what is the goal for you? Very vague, open-ended question. We want to figure out the specifics here. Leave my 9 to 5. I want to be able to, whatever the goal is. They're going to give you a brief overview, high-level response, and your job here is to probe, take that overview, that high-level response into specifics. Okay, what do you mean? In what way? Paint me the picture. What does that look like? What would having freedom, for example, or flexibility look like for you specifically? We probe until we get these specifics up here, until we get a specific non-numeric goal. I want to leave my 9 to 5, travel abroad, let's say. Okay, when we have that, cool. How much would you need to make in order to achieve that? I would need 8K a month to move to Thailand and live this type of lifestyle I want to live. Got it. What's next for you after that? Okay, well, now we're getting to the long-term vision. You're able to move abroad, move to Thailand, and make 8K a month. What's like the long-term vision after that? What do you see yourself doing? Yeah, I want to start a family, be able to provide for my kids, future wife, etc., etc. Okay, cool. Then we have a long-term vision. Then, why is that important to you? Why is being able to move to Thailand, have freedom, not be bound to 9 to 5? Why is that so important to you at a deeper level? We're going to uncover that deep desire, what it's actually coming down to. When we've done that, we've checked off all of this. Future. Great job. Now move on to the next part of the call. What you'll notice here is this in an actual sales call. This makes sense. Like, there's pretty simple questions to ask here. The big thing I want you to keep in mind is you need to be very, very attentive to what the person is saying. Okay, listen to what they're saying. Active listening, super, super important skill. And then use probing questions. So use, what do you mean? In what way? Paint me the picture. Tell me more. Questions go deeper on what they're saying. That's super important. Next thing, when we got this, we go into current. How close are you to achieving this goal right now? The most natural way to transition from them telling you about their goals to get into their current situation is to go from, okay, you want to make 10K a month, and you want this, this, and this. Help me understand, like, how close are we to 10K a month right now? I'm making 2K a month right now. Boom. We have a current income. You just confirm. So you're making 2K a month right now. We confirm that we actually got the right answer. Cool. What do you do for work right now? How long have you been doing it? This is gathering context. This is first two. Gathering the necessary context. Then, do you like it? Now we're starting to get into the actual emotional pain. They say no in most cases. Then you ask them why not. If they say, yeah, I like it, then you just push back a bit. Okay, got it. So if you like it right now, sounds like things are going fairly well. Why even consider making a change? Just push back because they're on the call to make change with you, and they're telling you that they like their job. It's like, what's going on? You know, most people will say, why not? Then you just probe into the specific reason for them wanting to make a change. Let's say they're like, I'm working this job, I'm working super long hours, I don't feel like I'm getting paid what I'm worth. Okay, God, when you say you're not going to get paid what you're worth, what makes you say that? Where's that coming from? Probe, 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 okay? Probing is the most important thing. If you do that properly, you will get all the pain that you will need by probing into one of their answers. What is it specifically you don't like about When I say problem here, for example, what is it you don't like about working 10 hours per day? What is it you don't like about being away from home for 10 hours per day? What is it you don't like about the current income? When you say making 2K per month is not enough for you, why do you say that? Tell me more. Same thing here. What do you mean? In what way? Paint me the picture. Just get a specific. You want to think about it. This is the framework that I think about it through. Try to paint the picture in your head of what this person is going through and try to really understand them, put yourself in their shoes, and you would ask the right questions naturally to get really, really clear on the situation. When you have a clear picture painted in your head of exactly what's going on for them right now, then you'll be able to move on. Then you have a current or a clear picture of their current situation. Next thing here is we want to figure out how has problem affected other areas of your life. Like I said before, we want a problem link. We want to link this problem of them not having enough income right now, not having time with their family, let's say, or whatever the problem is, to other areas of their life. That's when it becomes bigger. That's when you create massive urgency for them to make change. Think about it yourself. Would you be more likely to make change because you're working 10 hours per day right now and you're tired of working long hours, or because you can't spend time with your kids and you feel like a bad father figure? It's pretty obvious. That is why we need to tie this back to the deep-rooted and identity questions. How long have you felt this way? How does this affect others of your life? When we link the problem of not having enough time right now, or not having enough income, back to his desire to be a provider for a family, for example, or a woman, like a mom's desire to be a good leader and like good, not a leader, but a good mother figure for her kids. That is when she's going to feel a lot of reasons to make change. Okay, so that's how you're going to think about it. Trace these problems back to the deep-rooted reasons for why this person is up late at night, what's keeping them up at night, thinking about and like worrying about those key things. We're going to track back to, and we find out that's when you're going to close people at the highest level. Then we'll figure out how long they felt this way, and then we're going to use that time frame to uncover their past, aka their objection, and overcome that. So let's move on here. Past part, the most important part, where you will overcome people's objections. You will make sure that people do not have, I need to think about it and talk with my spouse at the end. You actually just close people, you drop the price, they're ready to go because you've done the heavy lifting right here. What we do here is, number one, how long have you wanted to fix the problem? How long have you wanted to get out of this 9 to 5 and have more time with your kids, for example? Then we want to figure out during this time, what type of action has this person taken? During X, Y, and Z, let's say during 10 months, during the last 2 years that you've been wanting to make a change, what have you done to fix it? What have you done to replace your 9 to 5? We break down their stories into facts. We figure out exactly what this person has been doing to actually make change in the past. And then we will see that this person has probably not taken a lot of action. They've been held back by something that's been preventing them from doing more. Let's say, okay, I've been wanting to make change for 2 years. I've been wanting to do my 9 to 5. Have you tried anything? No, I haven't tried anything at all. I've just been doing research. Okay. Like, it's obviously something that's been holding this person back. We need to figure out what that's been, because the exact thing that's been holding them back in the past will hold them back at the end of our sales call unless we overcome that. That's super important to understand. I'll say that again. The same thing that's been holding them back in the past from taking action and solving this problem will hold them back again unless you uncover it and you overcome it. Super, super key. So how do we do that? We break down their stories into facts. Let's say, they say, I've been wanting to make change for 2 years. I've tried some stuff in the past, done some research. Okay, break that down into specifics. Exactly what's been done over the last 10 months, over the last, let's say, 2 years that we want to make change. What have they done specifically to make that change? When you uncover that, you will quickly see, is this person actually doing everything they can to make change? Most of the time, that's just going to be no to that. They have actually not taken a lot of action. Then you want to ask them this very straightforward question here. Important thing is how you ask this. If you ask it in a very direct, combative way, you will get bad responses. People will have their defenses up. You won't get actual responses. You need to ask this in a very soft and curious way. Just kind of like from a perspective of like, help me understand. You know, you told me about you have this problem. It's been on for this amount of time. Help me understand what's been preventing you from taking action, doing more to solve X, Y, and Z problem, to get out of your 9 to 5 and get more freedom in the past. This is the key question right here. We do not move on here until we get the real roadblock, until we get the real objection. Them saying, I haven't had the time, I haven't found the right thing, that is not the real objection. And a good way to think about this, think to yourself, be very, very attentive to what's an objection versus what's an actual excuse. Okay. If someone says, I haven't found the right thing, let me ask you this. Like, if you want to get in shape, you want to lose weight, do you go to Google Maps and you just expect the perfect gym to pop up and TSB right outside of your door, or do you have to go out on Google Maps and some other, maybe ChatGPT, etc., find a good gym, get a car, get a membership, and like just go there, or whatever, like get an Uber and go to the gym, find a way to get yourself there, and then get a membership, start working out? It's pretty obvious. Same thing here. They need to go out and find the right thing. They need to go out and find the thing that's going to allow them to change their life. Not having the time, same thing there. If they want to lose weight, who's going to have to make the time to lose weight? It's them. Okay, so you reframe their mindset here. You get them to take real responsibility for them not having taken action in the past. And that's when you get to the core reason why they haven't taken action, which is usually, I've been scared, I've been too skeptical, I've been scared of what if it fails, what if it doesn't work out, things like that. That's the core stuff. That's the real reason, like their mindset. Basically, it's their identity and like how they think right now, how they make decisions. That's why they are where they are right now. You need to uncover that, get them to tell you about the fear, for example. When you uncover that fear, they tell you, hey man, my fear has been holding me back. Then you confirm that. You basically just ask them, has it been a fear of failure? Has it been a skepticism that's been holding you back from making this work in the past and actually starting something? You get them to admit, like fully, they need to fully admit that this fear, this skepticism, this me overthinking, me being a perfectionist has been holding me back from taking action on solving this in the past. When they say that themselves, then you and the prospect on the same side of the table working towards handling this issue, this objection. And that's the most productive thing you can do on a sales call, because then it's you and the prospect versus objection. You overcome it together instead of them and you fighting at the end of the call and they're giving you 10 different objections. What you do here to then overcome it once we actually figure out what their roadblock has been. And as I said before, you need to be patient here, ask questions to slowly get them to come to the conclusion themselves. If they say, I haven't had enough time, you need to ask them, okay, whose responsibility is that to find the time to actually get started with this? It's mine. Okay, got it. So if you know it's your responsibility, then what's been the way of you going out there and putting in the time and effort to find something and actually get started with it and prioritize time to make that happen? So you ask questions to get like small commitments, so then eventually get to the outcome where they realize themselves, shit, I've been in the way. My fear has been holding me back. Then we ask them, do you feel like fear, do you feel like skepticism has been helping you achieve your goal? They're going to say no. Then we ask them why not. Get them to justify to us why the fear is not helping them or whatever the roadblock has been. Then we ask them, if you had overcame roadblock, fear, let's say, for a year ago, where do you think you would be right now? This is an extremely powerful question. We'll get them to really think for a second about where would I have been in my life if I already overcame this multiple months ago. How much longer do you then want to let that fear control your life? Now we're really shifting. This is about deep identity stuff, really shifting their whole perspective on who do you want to be moving forward, building massive urgency and getting them to commit to making change. This is where we overcome all the objections that you typically run into otherwise at any of your calls. So what does it look like if another, let's say, 12 months goes by and fear is still holding you back? How will that impact you? How would you feel? What would that look like for you? And then they'll obviously be saying, like, I would be in a very bad position. I don't want to be, blah, blah, blah. Are you willing to settle for that? Why not? The why not, very, very important. We ask that here and here, because you want to get them to justify to us why they don't want to stay there. Key principle, them telling you stuff is way more powerful than you telling them stuff, okay? When they say, no, I don't want to stay there, you don't know if they're saying that you still want to move forward in the call or if they actually mean that. So that's where you want to push back and get the why not. So they start justifying to you why don't want to stay in the current position. When we have this, we have massive, massive commitment. We overcome their objection here. Anyways, when I finish this off with the true commitment, that they're actually ready to step into a new version of themselves before we pitch and then we close. We do this by ending this off with what I call the 2-option close, the 2-option question here. Basically just ask them, at this point, you really have 2 different options. Option number 1 is you keep letting roadblocks, so let's say the fear, control your life. Let it hold you back from making the change you really need to make. Stay in this job and continue not having the time with your family like you want to, continue not being able to show up as the dad that you want, whatever the problem is. That's option number 1. Option number 2 is you decide to step up, step into a new version of yourself, overcome this fear, push through that, and step into the version of you that is finally able to get the freedom and leave your 9 to 5 and be able to show up as the father that you want. The real question is, which type of person do you want to be? why is this question so powerful? Because it comes back to identity. The most powerful driver of human behavior is our identity. We want to act in alignment with the identity we have on ourselves. This, we basically ask them, who do you want to be? When they say number 2, I want to be the person who's actually going to overcome this, you can hold them accountable to that. When you get another call, if, for example, if fear comes up or anything else comes up, you can hold them accountable to what they said before, because they've themselves committed to that. And then you end this off with why, though. I think you guys see this at this point, you got so much commitment, it wouldn't make sense for someone to give an objection at the end of your call. And if you do this properly, when you get to real commitment, you just need to listen to their voice. Like, is this person actually serious about what they're saying right now? You would hear the difference if someone says, yeah, I think so. I think I want to be person number 2. Or, yes, I'm ready. Yes, Alex, I'm ready to act in accordance with that. You need to get a strong commitment, actual confidence in their voice. When you have that, boom, they move on to the pitch. And then this, in a future video, I'll go through exactly like the pre-pitch, the pitch, the temp check, and the close, and the button down. For now, just know that the most important thing in the sales call is really this. Now we have achieved everything in terms of building up this clear gap. We have a clear where they are, where they want to be. We've uncovered what the objection is going to be, and then we've overcame that objection, got a massive commitment. We hold them accountable at the end of the call. Pitching, pre-pitching, which is a special thing that I usually do on my sales calls to get massive buy-in to the solution I'm going to present. We pitch, we temp check, so we make sure they're actually confident about the pitch that we have presented them, and then we close. When you run through this and let every single part build on each other, you will get the end of your calls and people just close. You close everyone. And the most important thing is you can actually have certainty. You can actually have confidence hopping into a sales call, that you don't have to worry about, okay, what if this person gives you an objection? You will just preamble that. You will get all that stuff in the beginning, and at the end you can just close deals. This is the framework that I've taught this to so many other guys and sales teams that I manage, and also inside of my inner circle to guys, and allow them to get into high-ticket sales, into closing and appointment setting, and make 5, 10, 15, 20K per month using this exact same process. So I hope this makes sense. If you want my help to get trained up on this exact process, learn this properly from me directly, get placed into a role directly from my network. I have a bunch of roles hiring in my network right now. You're going to work with me one-on-one to get into high-ticket sales and actually get properly good so you can make 10K per month plus in this industry. You can book a call or just shoot me a message on Instagram, download this video to work with me one-on-one. If you're interested, if you have any questions, let me know there. And yeah, I hope this is valuable. I hope this makes sense. If you have any questions about any of this stuff, you can also just shoot me a DM on Instagram and I'll give you some more clarity there. And I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next video. Take care.